According to the National Electrical Code, NEC Section 230.9t, the disconnecting means for conductors that supply a residential unit must be installed at a readily accessible location either outside of a building or structure or inside nearest the point of entrance of the conductors. Also, NEC Section 230.91 states that for buildings or structures that are supplied by a single feeder and do not have a service entrance panel board, the service disconnecting means must be installed at the point of entrance of the feeder. The NEC does not explicitly require a main breaker in the load center near the house. The key requirement is that the disconnecting means, whether it's a circuit breaker or a switch, be readily accessible. If the 400 amp main breaker is located in a pedestal outside the house within 300 feet, it could meet the NEC definition of readily accessible. Therefore, the installation might be considered compliant with the NEC. The definition of readily accessible is important. Readily accessible, as defined by the NEC, means capable of being reached quickly for operation, renewal, or inspections, without requiring those to whom ready access is requisite to climb over or remove obstacles or to resort to portable ladders, and so forth. Now let's delve into what constitutes a disconnecting means. The disconnecting means is essentially the switch or circuit breaker used to shut off power to a circuit or piece of equipment. Its primary purpose is to provide a safe way to energize the circuit for maintenance or in case of an emergency. For a residential service, the main breaker serves as the disconnecting means for the entire house. When dealing with a 400 amp service, the disconnecting means must be appropriately rated for the service size. This means it should be capable of safely interrupting a 400 amp current. A 400 amp breaker or switch is typically used for this purpose. The location of the disconnecting means is crucial. The NEC mandates that it be readily accessible, meaning it should be easy to reach without having to climb over obstacles or use tools. In the case of a residential service, the disconnecting means is often located outside the house or inside near the point of entry of the service conductors. Now, regarding the 300-foot distance. The location of the 400 amp main breaker in a pedestal 300 feet away from the house raises questions about accessibility. While the NEC doesn't specify an exact distance limitation, it does emphasize that the disconnecting means must be readily accessible. If the pedestal is easily accessible and the breaker can be quickly switched off, it may be considered compliant. However, if there are obstacles or difficulties in reaching the pedestal, it could be deemed non-compliant. There are other considerations. Firstly, local amendments. Some local jurisdictions may have additional requirements or amendments to the NEC. These amendments could specify distance limitations or require a main breaker at the load center, regardless of the location of the main disconnect. Secondly, inspector interpretation. The interpretation of the NEC can vary among inspectors. Some inspectors may strictly enforce the requirement for a main breaker at the load center, while others may be more lenient if the main disconnect is readily accessible and located nearby. Thirdly, safety concerns. Even if the installation technically complies with the NEC, it's important to consider safety concerns. Having a main breaker at the load center provides an additional level of safety by allowing occupants to quickly shut off power in case of an emergency. If they are concerned about accessibility or safety, it may be prudent to install a main breaker at the load center, even if it's not strictly required by the NEC. Now, what if you encounter resistance from the local inspector? If the local inspector objects to the installation and requires a main breaker at the load center, it's important to understand your options. Firstly, review the local codes. Check for any local amendments or requirements that may mandate a main breaker at the load center. If such requirements exist, you may need to comply with them. Secondly, consult with an electrical engineer. An electrical engineer can review the installation and provide a professional opinion on its compliance with the NEC and local codes. Their expertise can be valuable in resolving disputes with the inspector. Thirdly, request a formal interpretation. If you disagree with the inspector's interpretation of the NEC, you can request a formal interpretation from the authority having jurisdiction (ARCH). The AHJ is responsible for enforcing the NEC and can provide clarification on its requirements. Fourthly, consider installing a main breaker. If all else fails, you may need to install a main breaker at the load center to satisfy the inspector. While this may incur additional costs, it can help resolve the issue and ensure that the installation is approved. Here is some additional guidance. Firstly, documentation. Keep thorough documentation of the installation, including permits, inspection reports, and communications with the inspector. This documentation can be helpful if disputes arise in the future. Secondly, communication. Maintain open communication with the inspector throughout the process. Understand their concerns and address them to the best of your ability. Thirdly, compromise. Be willing to compromise and find solutions that meet both the NEC requirements and the inspector's concerns. In summary, while the NEC doesn't explicitly require a main breaker at the load center in all cases, it's important to consider local codes, inspector interpretations, and safety concerns. If you encounter resistance from the inspector, gather information, consult with experts, and be willing to compromise to reach a resolution. To further clarify the situation, let's consider the specific wording of NEC section 230.90. This section states that the disconnecting means for conductors that supply a building or other structure must be installed at a readily accessible location, either outside the building or structure or inside nearest the point of entrance of the conductors. The key phrase here is readily accessible. The NEC defines readily accessible as capable of being reached quickly for operation, renewal, or inspections without requiring those to whom ready access is requisite to climb over or remove obstacles or to resort to portable ladders and so forth. Now let's analyze how this applies to the situation at hand. The 400 amp main breaker is located in a pedestal 300 feet away from the house. The question is whether this location meets the requirement of being readily accessible. To answer this question, we need to consider several factors. Firstly, the terrain. Is the terrain between the house and the pedestal relatively flat and unobstructed, or is it uneven or covered with vegetation? Uneven terrain or dense vegetation could make it difficult to reach the pedestal quickly. Secondly, weather conditions. In certain weather conditions, such as heavy rain or snow, it may be difficult or even dangerous to reach the pedestal. Thirdly, physical limitations. Individuals with physical limitations, such as mobility issues, may have difficulty reaching the pedestal. Fourthly, obstacles. Are there any obstacles, such as fences, gates, or parked cars, that could obstruct access to the pedestal? If any of these factors make it difficult to reach the pedestal quickly and easily, it could be argued that the location does not meet the requirement of being readily accessible. In that case, the inspector may be justified in requiring a main breaker at the load center. On the other hand, if the terrain is flat and unobstructed, the weather conditions are typically favorable, and there are no obstacles, it could be argued that the pedestal is readily accessible. In that case, the inspector may be willing to accept the installation without a main breaker at the load center. It's also important to consider the purpose of the readily accessible requirement. The primary purpose of this requirement is to ensure that the disconnecting means can be quickly and easily reached in case of an emergency. For example, if there is a fire in the house, firefighters need to be able to quickly shut off the power to prevent further damage or injury. If the disconnecting means is located in a remote or inaccessible location, it could delay the response and put lives at risk. Therefore, when evaluating whether the 400 amp main breaker is readily accessible, it's important to consider whether it can be quickly and easily reached in an emergency situation. If there is any doubt, it may be prudent to install a main breaker at the load center to ensure that the power can be quickly shut off in case of an emergency. Let's also discuss the role of the electrical engineer in this situation. An electrical engineer is a licensed professional who has the knowledge and expertise to design and analyze electrical systems. They can provide valuable assistance in resolving disputes with inspectors and ensuring that installations comply with the NEC and local codes. In this case, an electrical engineer could review the installation and provide a professional opinion on whether the 400 amp main breaker is readily accessible. They could also perform calculations to ensure that the electrical system is properly sized and protected. If the inspector is not satisfied with the installation, the electrical engineer could provide a written report explaining why the installation complies with the NEC. This report could be presented to the inspector to support the case. If the inspector is still not satisfied, the electrical engineer could meet with the inspector to discuss the installation and answer any questions they may have. In some cases, the electrical engineer may need to make modifications to the installation to satisfy the inspector. For example, they may need to install a main breaker at the load center or relocate the 400 amp main breaker to a more accessible location. The cost of hiring an electrical engineer can vary depending on the scope of the project. However, it's important to view this cost as an investment in the safety and compliance of the electrical system. In many cases, the cost of hiring an electrical engineer can be offset by the savings from avoiding costly rework or delays. In addition to providing technical expertise, an electrical engineer can also act as a mediator between the homeowner and the inspector. They can help to facilitate communication and resolve disputes in a professional and objective manner. This can be especially helpful if there is a disagreement between the homeowner and the inspector. In summary, if you are encountering resistance from the local inspector regarding the location of the 400 amp main breaker, it's important to consult with an electrical engineer. They can provide valuable assistance in resolving disputes and ensuring that the installation complies with the NEC and local codes. Finally, let's address the issue of local amendments to the NEC. As mentioned earlier, some local jurisdictions may have additional requirements or amendments to the NEC. These amendments can vary widely from one jurisdiction to another. It's important to be aware of any local amendments that may apply to the installation. To find out about local amendments, you can contact the local building department or electrical inspector. They can provide you with a copy of the local electrical code, which will include any amendments to the NEC. You can also check the website of the local building department, as many jurisdictions post their local codes online. If there are local amendments that conflict with the NEC, the local amendments will typically take precedence. This means that you will need to comply with the local amendments, even if they are more stringent than the NEC. For example, some local jurisdictions may require a main breaker at the load center, regardless of the location of the main disconnect. In this case, you would need to install a main breaker at the load center to comply with the local code. It's important to note that local amendments must be reasonable and consistent with the overall intent of the NEC. If you believe that a local amendment is unreasonable or discriminatory, you can challenge it through the appropriate legal channels. However, it's generally best to try to resolve the issue through communication and negotiation with the local authorities. In summary, it's important to be aware of any local amendments to the NEC that may apply to the installation. Contact the local building department or electrical inspector to find out about any local amendments. Comply with any local amendments that are more stringent than the NEC. Try to resolve any disputes with the local authorities through communication and negotiation. By following these steps, you can help to ensure that the installation complies with all applicable codes and regulations.